The effects engine on the Behringer Xenix Q1204 USB audio mixer is one of the more powerful effects engines that you're going to find in a small audio mixer like this. That being said, I don't really find the interface to be very intuitive. It actually took me about 30 minutes to figure out how to use this effects engine properly so I can make it do what I want it to do. So in this video, we're going to show you all the tips and tricks that we learned to get a better sound out of the effects engine. And of course, you're going to be able to hear and demo all 16 of the built-in effects on the Behringer Xenix Q1204 USB audio mixer. Now, of course, in order to get the best sound out of the effects engine, your channel strips all have to be set up properly. So let's just quickly walk through how we have everything set up for this video. Right now, you're listening to the Universal Audio SC1 condenser microphone. It's plugged into channel 1 here. I have phantom power turned on with the switch on the back. You can see how the preamp is set. There's no high pass filter or low cut or anything like that enabled. I have a tiny bit of compression, a tiny bit of EQ going on. And as we move down now, you can see that the fader is up to 0 or unity. The main output faders are set to 0 or unity. You can see that the level meter is moving. When I'm at my loudest here, you can see that it peaks really close to 0 dB, which is exactly where I want it. Now, in terms of setting up the effects engine properly on this audio mixer, on the channel itself, the channel of the microphone that we're using, I'm going to turn up the effects send to 0 or unity. On the main effects master, I'm going to turn it up to 0 or unity. And then as I go here, I'm going to be turning up the effects return as I want to hear the effects throughout the rest of this video. All right, let's take a look at the top corner here where the effects engine is. At the very top here, we do have a directory of all the effects that are in it, so you don't need to keep a copy of your manual around or anything like that. There are several effects under the reverb category, the ambience and delay category, modulation, detune and pitch, and then combination effects. Now here you can see what effect you have selected, and you can see a level that is being sent into your effects engine. That level is being sent from the effects send. So if you're not getting your effects, that's a good place to look to make sure that you're actually sending effects into the engine first. Beside that, it says 01, so that lets you know that we're on effect 01. Beside that, we have this program and parameter knob here. This does two different things. We're going to explain that in a second. And then there's this tap button that also does two different things. Now let's quickly talk about how this effects engine actually works so you know how to work with it and get the effect that you want. So as I mentioned just now, 01, so our main effect 01 under the reverb is the hall reverb, so that's what's selected. If I turn this up now, you can hear that we have a hall reverb selected. In order to edit this effect, you can edit it two different ways. Most of the effects built into this audio mixer have two different parameters that you can edit. So to edit the first parameter, you would select the program parameter knob by single clicking it, and then you can see that we can fade between 0 and 10. That's the variable of this effect. If I turn this effect on right now, you can hear that 01 is pretty tight, and then as we go all the way up to 0 or to effect or parameter number 10, you can see here that it opens up the effect a lot more. Now, you know that you're editing the first effect if you see this one blinking light. If you want to go back, you just wait 5 seconds and then it goes back to 01, so you know that you're on effect 01. Now, if you want to edit the second effect, that's to do with the tap button. Some effects will have a tap tempo, and some effects use this to toggle on or off a presence boost that is tied to that effect. So if I select this button here, you can see that we're turning this presence boost off. If I select it again, on. You get two blinking lights there, which let you know that you're editing the second effect. And then now that there's no blinking lights, you know that you're looking at the root effect. This is the part that is very confusing if you've never used this before. Because they don't have a separate parameter knob, they don't have a separate program knob. So I would like to see, one knob to select the program, one knob to edit the parameter, and then your clicky button to turn on or off that presence boost. But instead, we have this combination knob here, so they use these blinky lights in order to keep track of everything. So if you're editing the first parameter, you get one blinking light, and if we're editing the second parameter, there's two blinking lights, and if you just wait 5 seconds, those lights go off, and it shows you the main effect that you're working with. In this case, it's 01, which is the hall reverb. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's now go through all 16 of the effects that are built into this audio mixer so you can hear how they sound and see the parameters that we're able to adjust for each one. I'm going to turn up the effects return. Right now that you can see that we're on 0, 1, which is the hall reverb. When you click the parameter here, you can see that it's already at 10. So now we can go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a midway point, and this is what it sounds like on 10. Now that it's wide open, I'm going to go back to 3 or 4. And then for tap, you can see that brilliance is already turned on. You can turn it off. So this is what the reverb sounds like with brilliance off, and this is what it sounds like with brilliance on. The 2 dots mean that we're in the second parameter, so we just have to wait. Now you can see that we're on effect 1 again. Okay, let's go to the second effect and click to select it. The second one is a room reverb. We're going to go into the first parameter here. Right now it's at 10, so we're going to go down to 1. I turn this up a bit more so you can hear it. So on 1 here, go back to that first parameter. Now it's at 5. Now it's at 10. So this is it wide open. Let's go back to 5. You can see that the green light indicates that brilliance is turned off, so let's turn it on. Now this is what it sounds like with brilliance turned on. I'm going to turn it off again. And then I'm going to wait a minute just for that screen to go back to showing us 0, 2. Now we can go to the next effect. So number 3 is a plate reverb. This is what it sounds like. I'm going to go in that first effect. You can see I left it turned all the way up to 10. This is what it's at 5. And this is what it sounds like on a 1 out of 10. You can go back to 5. This is the midway point and save that. You can see that brilliance is turned on, so let's try it with brilliance off. This is what it sounds like with brilliance off on the plate reverb here. Okay, now let's go to reverb number 4. Reverb number 4 is a gated reverb. I'm going to go into the variables here, the parameters. It's at 10. I'm going to go to 5. This is what a 5 on a plate reverb sounds like. And then I'm going to go back into it and go down to 1. So this is the smallest version of the plate reverb. I'm going to go back to 5. You can see at the green light here that brilliance is turned on, so I'm going to turn it off. This is what it sounds like with the plate reverb, or the gated reverb with the brilliance turned off. Next, I'm going to go to a reverse reverb, 0, 5. I'm going to go into the parameter. You can see that it's at 10. I'm going to go down to 5. And on parameter 1, now I'm going to go down to 1. So this is how this sounds. You can see that brilliance is turned off. On the first parameter here, I'm just going to go back to 5 out of 10, leave it at the midway point, and then I'm going to turn brilliance on. This is what it sounds like with the reverse reverb, 5 out of 10, with brilliance turned on. Okay, the next one, 0, 6. This is called early reflections. We can go into the first parameter here. So this is 0 out of 10. This is 5 out of 10. And this is 10 out of 10. And you go all the way back to 5 out of 10. And then you can see brilliance is turned off. So I'm going to turn brilliance on now. It says on. This is brilliance on this early reflections effect. And go back to the next effect is 0, 7. This is called ambience. I'm going to go into the first one. It goes between 0 and 10. So this is what it sounds like with 1 on the first parameter. This is what it sounds like on 5 on the first parameter. And this is what it sounds like on 10 on the first parameter. I'm going to go back down to 5. Select that. You can see brilliance is turned on. Now brilliance is turned off. I'm going to wait for it to reset here. Now it's back to 0, 7. Now number 8 is a delay. So this one's a bit different. We have a tap tempo on the tap button here. So you can set the speed of that delay. And then the first parameter is how many times this repeats. So right now it's 1 repeat, but we can go all the way up to, I believe, 20. So however many delays you want, you can do it. I think 1 or 2 is probably where you should be landing. And that's the delay. I'll wait for it to reset. Then I'm going to go to the echo. 0, 9 is an echo. On the first parameter here, we have 1, and you can go all the way up to 40. All the way up to 40 echoes. You can go back down to 1. This is 1 echo now, and then you can tap tempo for how fast the echoes happen. So if you go really fast, then you can do a ton of echoes really fast. So we go back down to 1. And that's that. All right, the next one, number 10. I'm just gonna wait for this to reset. So I can select number 10. Number 10 here is a chorus. So the chorus, we can go in the first parameter here. We can go from 1 all the way up to 100. I'm gonna turn this up. You need to really turn up the effects return in order to hear the chorus effect. You can go between 1 and 100. So this is the chorus at 100. This is the chorus at, say, 50. And this is the chorus effect down at 1. Now the second button for the chorus does still do tap tempo, so you can choose the speed of the chorus. All right, the next effect that we have is the flanger. So 11 is the flanger. And let's go in that first parameter. So you can go all the way from 0 to 100 again. This is 1, all the way up to 100. 100 is pretty fast. It kind of sounds like the sound is ping-ponging back and forth. Somewhere around kind of like, I don't know, 60 is like a more realistic flanger, I think. And you do get tap tempo again for this. So you can do that as well. All right, so number 12 here is the phaser. Again, you can go between 0 or 1 and 100. So this is the phaser at 1. This is the phaser at 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90. You can tap tempo for the phaser as well. So you can set the speed to your liking there. Okay, the next effect here, number 13, is a detune. I'm going to turn this up so you can hear it detuning. You can go into the parameter. So you can see here that we can go all the way from 1 to 100. Check, check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Detune at 99 right now. And for detune, the tap tempo here And for detune here, the tap tempo sets the tempo for the second delay, if that makes sense. All right, effect number 14 is the pitch shift. Oh, go back to 14, save that. And we can pitch shift from -12 to 0, or 1, I guess. There is no 0. And you can go all the way up to +12. So -12 to +12 is what you can do with this. Okay, I'm just going to wait for this to reset. And then number 15 is a delay and a reverb. I'm just going to turn this down a bit. So it's a delay and a reverb. So the first parameter, you can mess with the intensity. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So it seems like at the minus section, it's more on the delay. And on the plus side, it's more reverb. So you can mix between your delay and reverb. And your tap button does tap tempo. Okay, effect number 16 now is a chorus and a reverb. You can go to the first parameter here. So we can go -9. So we're fading towards chorus here. And then we can go all the way up to +9, which is more on the reverb side of things. And then you can tap tempo again as well. Okay, so that's the full demo of all the effects that are built into the Behringer Xenix X1204 USB audio mixer. If you have any questions about this audio mixer, please leave a question down in the comment section below. Again, if you are looking for pricing or specs for anything you see in this video, we have links down in the description below. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.